Howdy y'all, as promised, this is all the evidence I found about the Leviathan and dragons. Take a look for yourself.
Have you ever been in a conversation with somebody and they literally twist everything that's said and they'll take what you said to them and they'll attack you with it? Do you know what this is? That's called a Leviathan spirit. And both the book of Job in the Bible lets us know Leviathan is not something you want to battle with. Those who try to wrestle with Leviathan get messed up. I mean, he's described in the Bible as a shipwrecking spirit. So if he was wrecking ships, then if you take, the physical sense of what he was doing in the Bible and apply it to the spiritual, he's wrecking you too, because we're the ship that's carrying the load. And when this spirit comes in, it literally wants to shipwreck us and destroy everything around us. So when you're dealing with a person that has the spirit, you're not going to win that battle unless you have the Holy Spirit and unless you have love. Because love covers a multitude of sins and perfect love casts out fear. And you can't have a spirit of stupid either, because the spirit of stupid will cause you to try to wrestle the spirit of Leviathan, and that is a battle that you will never ever win.
First, let me start by saying none of this is real. It is all made up. It's all fake. Everything that I say inside of this video is fake now. It's a script. I'm just speaking out loud the script that I have written for my new movie called Levi, The Awakening. Let's get to it.
Google Earth, guys, like if we go down to the bottom of the Earth, what does that look like to you? Around Antarctica, what do you see there, guys? It has two eyes. It looks like it has scales. As we zoom in, you can see like it has nostrils. This is really, really fascinating for me as a student of Bible prophecy, because this is what it says in Job chapter 41. Can you draw Leviathan with a hook? God also says in Isaiah 27 that there's a day coming. Once the judgment is over, Yehovah will slay the reptile that is in the sea. Job chapter 3 verse 8, check this out. May those curse it who curse the day, those who are ready to arouse Leviathan. This happened on April 8th, guys. You tell me, check this out.
During the solar eclipse, something big happened in Antarctica that caused waves 25 meters high. People are saying that this surfaced and it came from the direction of Antarctica, and now it is larger than the size of Texas.
Can you imagine a snake that big around the entire circle of the Earth, moving its head, breathing, causing massive tsunamis? What in the world, guys? Is not the truth of the word of God stranger than fiction?
You guys, I believe they are trying to kill the dragon. Did you guys hear that Trump just made it okay to strike within Venezuela? And where within Venezuela do you think they'd be striking? Right? This is the chin area. These are the nose holes, or the nodes on it. All right? And the face comes through here. Here's the side of it, coming around to the cheek area. And here's the eye. All right? There's one eye here, and the other eye is over here in the DR. Okay? And this, it goes on through and comes out. All right? This dragon is huge, you all. It's absolutely huge. And I've been telling you all for years that they were going to do exactly what they're doing right now, because this one is waking. Not just waking, she's on the move, okay? So we're going to get, this is where she feeds, coming through this side. So we're always going to have the earthquakes there. You're going to have the earthquakes here, all right, through her neck. And you can always follow the digestive tract through Los Angeles, the belly of the beast, all right? And she tracks around here. There's the belly area, all right? And it goes on up. You can always follow the digestive tract. Earthquake, follow the digestive tract, all right? Comes on out to the tail, in which this one has a barb on her tail, and it ends up here in the Bering Sea, where the cloaca is, where they bear their eggs, the Bering Sea, okay? And right now, she is waking. She is going to move. They named this the Gulf of America, because when she moves here, it's going to split, all right? And all of this water here will rush in there, and guess what you're gonna get? You're gonna get the future naval map of America, all right? Where the Gulf runs through here. Everything is separated through here. We get more water coming in through Utah, and all of this will be underwater, you guys. And America itself will be split into major parts. 1, 2, 3 parts. But the United States, will have 1, 2 parts, and will be split by a sea.
And you still don't believe that there's a dragon in Venezuela? Do you know what they just named their gas and oil project? You know, the oil that the United States stole? Let me show you.
They plan on drill baby drilling, and they have signed commercial agreements with both KBR and Baker Hughes, because they planning on developing the Dragon Gas Project.
Hold up. They plan on developing what?
The Dragon Gas Project. And the Dragon Gas Project.
You know that oil is Leviathan, or dragon's blood. And I told you all, once this place warms up enough and she was able to thaw out, she's gonna move. And they had her anchored in Anchorage with those glaciers that are no longer there. Now, you've all heard about El Nino, Super El Nino. What's a Nino? A baby boy. Remember, her tail and her cloaca, which is their poop chute and their birth canal, is in the Bering Sea. Do you know what she's going to bear really, really soon? El Nino. So, they told you that the water temperature in the Pacific has risen. Do you know what happens to women when they get ready to go into labor? Due to intense physical exertion, the body temperature rises. Now, imagine a dragon 9,000 miles long, body temperature rising. Not only will the glaciers in Anchorage that has her anchored melt, but the water around her, the temperatures are going to rise. If you follow me, I told you before, she was going to give birth. Everyone's talking about Earth going through birthing pains. Earth going through birthing pains. I told you exactly where, who, and what was going through birthing pains. You didn't believe me. But for some reason, they magically named their gas and oil project in Venezuela, in which I told you all they were going to Venezuela because she was moving, the Dragon Gas Project. Why is that? So I want you to take a look here. And what you see is a skeleton. But what is that a skeleton of? Not to mention, this is in San Leandro, California, the Pacific Ocean. You know, the ocean that's starting to warm up abnormally. Now, I've been warning you all for years that this was coming. Did you see all of the earthquakes along the tail of Levi? Let me show them to you again. For those of you that follow me, you know that's the head. The body runs up here through the belly of the beast, Los Angeles. Every circle is a earthquake. Now this is on the tail of it. See where the tail goes all the way out? Right there to the tip. I told you all she was going to try to move, especially once she could free from being anchored in Anchorage. Now, her moving could open up everything down here. That's where she runs. It could split there. Anywhere over here could fall off. Everything on top of her over here could fall off and potentially be covered with water. That tail could move and turn a tsunami, send a tsunami that could probably cover a quarter of the United States over here with water. And how do you know that that might be an outcome? Did any of y'all watch the opening ceremony of the FIFA football soccer games? Oh, they told us a lot in there. Here we are on the USGS, and you can see that it was a 7.2 and a 7.5 that happened in Venezuela. Now let's get to it. What is that, you guys? What is that? I told you all. I had already told you and showed you. Most of you know what this is. This is the eye area. This is one of her eyes, okay? Right there. And that's around the eye. It's trying to move. I showed you all of the other earthquakes on the tail. All right. You can see the tail there. And the earthquakes on the tail, where that tail ends. And Japan. Told you all. Japan. There is another one. Remember, Naga. The Naga, Nagasaki. All right. This is the mouth here, coming around into the cheek area. And this one runs on back there. All right. World War II. Nagasaki is right there. There's the eye. Right there. Do you know what is right there? Here, let me show you. Hiroshima. All right. And there's Nagasaki. There's the eye of this one. All right. Remember what they dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? And for those of you that follow me, you know what the Nagas are. And for those of you that don't, keep up. In various Asian religion traditions, the Nagas are a divine or semi-divine race of half human, half serpent beings that reside in the netherworld. And here's a picture of your Nagas. All right. You guys got to keep up. Don't forget who was tempted by a serpent in the garden. It is June 24th, and I am back with your new Leviathan update. Now, let's talk about it. If you follow me, you know what's in Venezuela, the Eye of Levi. And today, Venezuela had two major earthquakes, a 7.1 and a 7.5. Remember, I told you exactly where they were going to attack and what was going to move. Where do you think those earthquakes were? So today we've had Levi in the Caribbean, and also the Levi in Tokyo. What's always coming out of Tokyo, you guys? Godzilla. Can somebody tell me what the name of this super El Nino is? Y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. The Guardian. El Nino is back with a vengeance, and fears of Godzilla's strength may be the least of our worries. Scientists say there's a 90% chance of a Godzilla El Nino. Historic Godzilla El Nino forms. Southern California born, a volatile winter ahead. I've told you all about the bearing sea. What does bearing mean? To bear a child. Everyone's waiting for the coming of the El Nino. What's a Nino? Right. The baby boy is going to be born again. And whenever a woman or a female is going into labor, her body temperature rises. Hence, the rising temperature of the water in the Pacific, where the body of Levi sits. Okay? This is why all of the glaciers are melting. All of it. Her body temperature is rising. And do you all remember the movie Godzilla?
Have a look at Dragon's Neck Mountain. Now, many people, including myself, believe that this is a giant petrified dragon. Dragons were spoken about throughout all of our ancient cultures, throughout religious texts. It is one of the animals in the Chinese zodiac, all real animals in the Chinese zodiac with the dragon as well. Now, there are hundreds of examples of this, but this is perhaps my favorite. This was discovered during the renovation of a cathedral in Naples. You can see the dragon. This is our real history. The evidence of this can be found all over our world. Petrified beings, snakes, dragons, scales like this, Naka cave, Naka means snake. The sea, it's all over our world, guys. All over our ancient history, all over our past. These are dragons. They're dragons. Like, come on now. The evidence is so clear. You just have to listen. Listen to what our ancestors told us. Listen to what all these religious texts told us. They all depicted these creatures. And then you have our society, which is run by the Satanists, which rewrite all of the history and tell you lies to keep you ignorant to, the real origins of humanity. Perhaps when we see all these melted old buildings in structure, like this as well, and like this, it might make you think that dragons were involved.
So I just heard the story about Tiburcio Vasquez. Apparently in the late 1800s, him along with 30 other people on a train in California encountered a dragon that was hurtling towards them, creating a giant dust ball and couldn't see where it was going, and part of his tail got ripped off by the train. And this was covered in the Los Angeles Times newspaper with testimonies from the engineer, the fireman, and other passengers saying that they saw this thing, a 30-foot-long serpent creature, and apparently this sort of stuff used to happen all the time back then, and they called these things American dragons. And this was the same time period that mainstream science created the term dinosaur to explain all of the huge reptilian fossils they were finding underneath the ground in excavations all around America. Also, don't forget that in the 19th century, their encyclopedias had dragons being an actual animal that were slowly going extinct and were now becoming rare, but did exist way back more in medieval times.
It all started a few days ago when my buddy Mike, who has this page on the gram, go follow him, he's brilliant and has so much awesome information, posted this. And those are people. So these are rock formations, and those are people, so think how big that is. So Mike was mentioning in his post how the mainstream would never let us know how big dinosaurs actually were, and he was saying these were scales from a giant dinosaur. But I was suspicious. I wasn't quite sold on what he was saying. Suspicious to the point where I wanted the coordinates. So Mike, like the good person he is, found me the coordinates, and just to show you a little bit more, all this rock formation goes on until the eye can't see, and that's a car, just so you get an idea of how big these are. So I got these coordinates, and I put them in, because I wanted to see these rock formations for myself, so I zoomed all the way in, and I found these patterns, and they were everywhere, and they just go on forever and forever. And that's a car, just so you can get a scale again here, and just look at these. They're forever, and they're all just like, the squareness of them, they're too coincidental to what a reptile scale looks like to me. So what I wanted to do was I saw this, and then I wanted to zoom out and see if I can get a bigger thing, but I didn't see anything, and I was like, I give up, and then all of a sudden, there it was. Now, you might not see it at first, but I promise you, you will. So look at the red. We're looking at the red here. Here's a wing, okay? So a giant wing. Here's its torso going up to its neck, and then its head is right here. And then another wing, and then so we got body, wing, neck, and then I'm going to show you its head, and it's crazy. All right, so I really want you to see this. And over here is the head, so I circled the head. Here's its mouth around. Literally, the mouth opening is right here. Here's its eye. So here's its big head. Here's an outline. I found the best looking dragon to what it looked like. But you can see in the blue outline, the blue, you can see the wings, and then its head goes up and around, and the part to the very top right is the head here. Now watch this. All right, so here's the whole thing. Wing. I'm going to zoom in on the head here and just wait till you see this. Okay, so here's its head. Here would be its bottom jaw. Look, you can literally see its teeth, even molars here. And then look at this. More teeth over here, but wait till I show you what I found. And I found this after I saw this. Look at the name of the trail by the giant dragon head. Black Dragon Canyon Trailhead. Guys, they put the truth right in plain sight. The Dragon's Head, Dragon Trail. So just to compare the rock formations to a crocodile. Suspiciously similar, right? So again, I just really want you to see that those rock formations look exactly like what petrified crocodile scales would look like. Exactly. And these scales go on forever. Literally forever. Miles and miles and miles. Now here's where it gets even crazier. There's a place up here around where the dragon's chest would be called Fern's Nipple. And I want to show you this place. Okay, so here it is from an overhead view, and it literally looks like a nipple. And you can see all these scale patterns again. Now let me show it to you from the side view. All right, so it clearly looks like what it's being called, and it happens to be right in that chest area of the dragon. Now I think if people were to ever think of dragons for real, they wouldn't think the dragons had nipples. But there was all sorts of crossbreeding animals going on back before the flood with the fallen angels literally crossbreeding humans with different animals to try to get different species. So I'm not discounting this part of it at all, especially when I look at what ferns comes from. There just happens to be something called a wyvern, and wyvern, it sounds very similar to me, and wyvern is a type of mythical dragon with 2 legs and 2 wings and a pointed tail, which is said to be a venomous stinger. So are they telling us truth in plain sight, as they always do? And again, are they putting that truth in plain sight in books and even in alcoholic beverages called dragon's milk? You tell me. Now you might think all this is crazy, but the dragon, it's been mentioned everywhere since the beginning of written history. And the Bible is mentioned 35 times. It's one of the 12 zodiac signs of the Chinese calendar, and you're telling me they just picked 11 real animals and 1 fictional one? If you haven't researched any of the history of the hidden giants and titans of the world, like these guys, or this one, or these, or even some of these crazy ones in this giant petrified tree,
crystal clear. Every single dinosaur skeleton you see in a museum is fake. What they show you are casts and models, not real bones, the original bones. The remains of a certain flying beast that's been documented all throughout history, mentioned by every single ancient culture. Yeah, naked dragons. The bones from previous resets and catastrophes and whatever other genetic monstrosities the civilization before us created in their eugenics labs are locked away, unavailable for independent research. Shocking, I know.
Understand why they would hide these guys from us? Well, because it crashes down their narrative of evolution and the Big Bang and dinosaurs and the globe and everything. And it legitimizes the Bible. So you can go on believing that dinosaurs existed 65 million years ago, or you can do some research and realize these are the guys that really existed.
But let us know what you think in the comments down below, and make sure to like, share, and follow for more hidden truth. Peace and love.